Hi, Intro to Calc. So section 4.4, the chain rule. Before we start working with that, we're going to review composition of functions. So composition of function is when there's a function inside of another one. So in our first one, y equals the square root of x plus 5, we have a radical and we also have a linear function x plus 5. And you always work on the inside out. So in the inside function, g of x would be x plus 5. And the outside function would be f of x is equal to the square root of x. So if we had taken away the x plus 5, what are we left with? The square root of x. Example 2, we're left with an x e. So e to the power of 5x plus 2. So again, a linear function, I'm going to set as my g of x function, and my f of x function is e to the x. So the chain rule is when we're trying to find the derivative of functions within functions. And it's f prime of g of x times g prime of x. So what we're going to do in our first example, f of x is equal to 3x minus 2x squared, all to the power of 3. We have to find f prime of x. So before we do that, we're going to analyze it and break it down a little bit. Our inside function is 3x minus 2x squared, and that's what we're going to set u equal to be. So, and then f of u is just going to be u to the power of 3. So the derivative of f of x is f prime of u times the derivative of just u. So looking at f prime of u, taking the derivative of this function is going to be 3u squared times the derivative of u prime is 3 minus 4x. Then what you have to do is substitute what u is, and you now have your final answer. For example 2, we first want to change the radical to an exponential function. So we have f of x is equal to x squared minus 1 to the power of 2/3. Our inside function, u, is going to be x squared minus 1. So our entire function is u to the power of 2/3. So we're first going to take the derivative of our f of u function. So it's 2/3 u to the negative 1/3 times the derivative of u, which is 2x. I'm then going to do the substitution. And then remember, we can never leave negative exponents, so I put it into the denominator, did the substitution and changed it back to a radical, 4x over 3 times the cubed root of x squared minus 1. Last but not least, example 3, we have f of x is equal to negative 7 over 2t minus 3 to the power of 2. Again, I first changed it so we had no fractions. So I had negative 2 times 2t minus 3 to the power of negative 2. So our inside function is 2t minus 3, and f of u is equal to negative 7u to the negative 2. F of u prime is 14u to the negative 3 times the derivative of u, which is 2. And it simplifies to 28 times 2t minus 3 to the power of negative 3. And then again, make sure your exponent is always positive to end.